with Comet, our Reverb. And I'll wait for some people to join in on our chat. You're always welcome to join our chat. The link is down below, polyversemusic.com/chat. You'll be escorted to our Discord server. Let me just turn my phone notifications off because this is not the time for me to be dealing with this. Okay. Yeah, so I've made a track for this demo. Let me play it for you guys and let me know if you can hear anything. I wonder if we have anybody in the live stream. If we have anybody in the live stream, say, hey, all right. Okay, so cool. Before I play, can you tell me if my voice is loud enough? And this is the playback, so this is like, how's the balance? Is it good enough? Should I carry on? Hey, Robert. All right, so let's play that track until people will start coming in and drizzling in. And while I'll play the track, I'll notify everyone about our live streams. All of the reverbs in this track are by Comet, of course. Hear those magic sounds.
Glowing bright tonight. Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight. Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight.
So this is, that's the track I made. And let's go over some of the reverb settings. Hey, BuzzPsy, yo. Let's go over some of the reverb settings on those tracks and kind of figure out why I chose things that I chose. And there are very various different reverb settings. The reason I like to use Comet is because it doesn't have too many parameters, and the parameters that it does have are very easy to dial. So let's take a look at the first channel. This is made out of those 4 different samplers, Alchemy synthesizers, that are playing different sounds fed into a bus and into Comet. Let's just listen to the sounds without Comet.
Comet in the
Just listen to that one right there. So now let's add the reverb that I made. And let's listen to it 100% width. So there's several things that you can probably notice about this setting. First of all, it is very, very smooth. And to achieve that kind of smoothness, you would want to push diffuse 100% all the way. So you'll get this kind of silky smooth reverb. Another thing that you've probably noticed is that it has this kind of swelling effect. And for that swelling effect, you want to use a big, big size. This takes more time for the reflections to kind of reach the back walls and kind of get back. So we have, instead of a pa, we have a wah kind of effect. And also, I've been using the decay to make sure that it reaches exactly to the right. The decay is basically like a feedback for a delay. So when you tune it, you basically tune how long the reverb is. Not how big it is, but how kind of reflective the room is. So together with those settings, you can hear that it comes all the way up to the next chord, and then kind of makes way. So they don't mix too much. And let's listen to the same reverb with no detune, and you'll hear how clean it sounds. And that detune gives it a smoky, fuzzy feeling. The detune inside Comet is very special because it is made to spread the pitch evenly and is not what most reverbs use, which is more like of a chorus effect, which lowers the pitch a little bit more than higher it. Yeah, so this has a different kind of musicality to it. So yeah, that's the setting here. And this guy, oh, too much. Oh, in Comet you can lock the wet and dry and several of all of the parameters so that the presets don't change them, right? So for this reverb, I used a little tiny bit of dry, but a lot of wet, because I really like the sound, but I also like the attack of the original sound, so the clarity. Beautiful. So let's move on to the next setting. I'm not going to move forward with the track, and because there's several things that happen. For instance, the vocals come in here, but in the end they have some kind of thing that I want to show. So we'll leave the vocals a little bit later. Let's talk about drums. The drums here have a reverb on the snare. So just let's listen to the drums on solo. Wait, I'm doing solos on mixer and on the range and kind of messing things around. Let's make sure that the right things are soloed. Right. So I admit I didn't put a lot of effort into making a nice sound for the drums because I kind of like the kit as is, and really this is just a demo. If it was a track, I probably put some more effort into kind of putting EQs and compressors on all of the drums. But let's just listen to the. To me, I put in the drums mainly as an excuse for a reverb on the snare drum in this demo. So here goes. Let's listen to the snare. And with Comet. And with the compressor. So what Comet does here is gives, I wouldn't say a gated reverb all the way, but it does have this kind of effect of lots of reverb and no reverb after that, right? So it's like a huge room, maybe not huge, but pretty big. In Comet, 30 would be a hall already. 60 would be a cathedral church, and 100 would be eternal space. A 0 would be like a Planck length. So Comet kind of really, the size really has a very, very, very wide range. I don't think any reverb has such a wide range for size. So let's make that size. Right? Okay, so you can hear those droplets. If I wanted it to be smoother, I would dial it all the way to 100, right? Okay, so, but there is something a little bit heavy and too dense about reverbs that have density of 100%. It just occupies, I would say, it sounds more like a sound of its own than a kind of a reverb that is made of delays. So sometimes I do welcome low diffusion stuff if I want to make a little bit more room in the mix. So let's kind of dial in, first of all, the size of the room for the snare. Yeah, if I wanted, I could make the room a little bit smaller. And give a little bit more decay. And there's a lot of damping here, so that doesn't have to be. Right? A lot of people kind of like this kind of decaying reverb that sounds more natural, but I opted to go for something a little bit more kind of 80s, reminiscent of the gate reverbs, where you have zero decay. The reverb is just the early reflections, and that's it. Early and secondary, first and second, yeah. And I'm trying to tune the size to be for the size that I want. Now, you can hear that the tail is a little bit too much like, and it has a life of its own. I want it to sound like a reverb. Yeah, it has a little bit of metallicness to it, but it's fine for me because it's a snare. If I wanted to get rid of it, of course, a little bit more diffuse. The detune does a lot. Maybe you could replace the decay with some of the size, but I kind of like what I had over there. So It's very swollen. Yeah. And here I have the high damp and the low damp and the color. So you can see with those, I like to kind of use those as two kinds of tone management systems. The first tone management system is the one that evolves over time. So high damp and low damp, the reverb starts like full range, and then as time goes on, it will decrease the highs if you have a lot of high damp, or the lows if you have a lot of low damp. And this can really clean up the reverb if you want longer reverbs. But if you're using shorter reverbs, the color would take the reverb from in its entirety and change the tone. And this is kind of more like of a seesaw effect where 0 is bypassed. So I just kind of tuned the reverb to be as bright as I want. So let's listen to it in the mix. Right. Okay, I can add more wet or less. But at some point, it kind of sounds like hoo-ha, hoo-ha. So I'm just kind of looking for that sweet spot where it sounds big. Okay, so that's a nice setting for me, and that just shows you that not always full diffuse is the way to go with drums. Sometimes it is. So if I would be using percussion with very short transients in a very transparent setting, yeah, diffuse all the way, 100%. But then you also have that room for that extra delay lines. Each time you add more diffuse, you basically add more delay lines into the channels. You add more channels to your mix, really. And that can clutter up the mix a little bit. So just dialing it down. And we'll see that in the vocals even more. Another thing that I maybe forgot to mention on this one is that we have a pre-delay on almost all of our reverb settings. And that pre-delay helps us separate just by a tad. And this is by milliseconds. This is like 54 milliseconds is nothing. You almost don't sense it, but you feel it. And the separation between the reverb and the origin, the source, allows the source to breathe a little bit more, sound less muddy. It's very useful. So yeah, some details about tuning reverbs. Let's continue to another track with pretty nice reverbs going on. There's something about this particular setting of reverb that makes it sound kind of more scientific-y. It sounds like a cleaner space, and that is because we have this low damp that reduces the low end, and the reverb sounds kind of pristine and clean. So let's listen to that. Without that, you can probably hear how dirty it is, but okay. And to make it not too bright, You know what? Probably after this, I'm gonna try and modulate the reverb a little bit in the mix to make it sound even more moving. Because just take a look at, just listen to that. Right? Oh, sorry. It's pretty nice. I'm going to modulate it later. Just kind of put it back in and out, kind of. Because the entire idea of a reverb, when you build a mix, you want to send things, the important things come to the front, and the less important things are in the back. It doesn't mean that important things don't get reverb. They just get a kind of a more distant and separated reverb because the walls are separated and distant. So if it's like a vocal, I would use more pre-delay. I would make the reverb more detached from the voice and maybe make it longer versus something that is close to you. I would make the reverb a little bit shorter as if the walls are closer to you and everything is kind of more active in terms of acoustic and time, faster. Yeah, so let's take a look at the voice. And I'm not going to lie. Let's see who of you guessed that this was an AI voice. Yeah, this is an AI voice. I used Studio V for the vocals here. I think they're doing a terrific job. So I could tune. This was a feminine singer that I kind of lowered the formants a little bit to kind of make her sound less natural, because I dug that kind of what is it? A contratenor male vocalist, or is it like an alto, like a super deep alto woman, female? What is it? I kind of like that. And so, yeah, let's look at the reverb here.
In the sky, trailing by.
Okay, so
glowing bright tonight, Comet and
there's lots of things that you can do here. With the reverb on her will sound great, whatever you do. Let me just kind of load some other cool presets that I think are awesome. I don't have the save anymore. Yeah, so probably some of you already noticed that we have our presets are kind of improving and Comet kind of is left behind, so don't worry. All of our plugins are going to get the same preset list as Filterverse, but I don't want to say too much. All of our plugins are going to get a big upgrade, so just hang on tight. You're going to get many more presets, and I think even more than you bargained for. So it's going to be awesome.
Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight, Comet in the sky.
So, okay, Comet loads with one of my favorite presets, which is called Goldilocks. And it's kind of like the not too big, not too small, kind of the Goldilocks zone, right? So it's just like the right reverb to start Comet with.
Comet in the sky,
you can hear how nice the tail ends and everything. But if I put it in the mix, this specific reverb,
Comet in the sky,
just takes too much space, which is why I lowered all of the detune and diffuse, right? And the decay a little bit too. So now, yeah, the
Comet in the sky.
if you listen to the tail in dry, yeah, the tail doesn't sound as nice and as pristine, right?
By.
It even has this, but because I've lowered the diffuse, because I've lowered the detune, because I've lowered this kind of space and focus that the reverb is taking, everything is more open.
Comet in the sky.
There's no competition between the reverb
Trailing by.
and the voice.
Glowing bright tonight.
And the tonal aspects of the high damp here are just secondary, right?
Sky.
It's more about the style of music. If it was more brash, I would open, right? But
Trailing by.
here I'm trying to get kind of something more like,
Glowing bright
I don't want to destroy the power, but make it too dark.
tonight.
But I don't want to make it too brash. So I'm just looking for that
Comet
nice,
in the sky.
yeah. And same for the low damp. With the low damp, I was mixing, and then I was like, there's something in the low end
Comet in the sky.
that kind of competes
Trailing by.
with the reverb. And I just kind of add,
Glowing bright tonight.
it just makes room. Very simple. And then, of course, the color, just to make sure, do I want a more bright reverb or dark?
Comet in the sky.
Too much is kind of like,
Trailing by.
that's a really nice space and just kind of pushes everything into position without me touching the EQ at all. So now I have a really nice produced sounding reverb. And there's another thing that happens here on this channel. So let me play the last verse, and you'll see that in this one, then I automate. Let me show you the automation.
Comet.
I automate the decay to be long and nice and give a nice tail. So listen to that.
And in the sky. Trailing by. Glowing bright
Right? So that gives me that kind of sustained note. Yeah, you can do the same thing with reverbs, but with delays, and it really works. But Comet, if you just put it on 100%, it will stay there, but it doesn't loop. It doesn't kind of completely sustain. It will still go through those filters, and there is also saturation in the feedback loop. So it's going to kind of get a little bit darker and a little bit more distorted as time goes on, but very, very slowly, because those saturators and filters are kind of gentle. So you can hear that happening, and the reverb just has this life of its own. Let's move on to the next track that I want to highlight. At the end, there's this kind of more of a technological kind of moment. So I just edited this loop here. And to make it sound surprising, I kind of broken the beat a little bit. And I wanted to kind of accentuate where those surprises come and make them even more surprising. So I added another channel and I copied some of those hits onto that channel. That channel has a 100% wet Comet reverb, and it sounds like this. Just having some fun with the automation on Comet, because part of the idea here with Comet is that it is elastic and you can tune that speed with the glide. So let's kind of do the same effect just with really, really fast retuning. Okay, so you hear less of those artifacts, but I chose to give it a longer glide. So let's kind of dial it to the extreme now, and things are just going to be melty and glidey. And of course, you can tune that to be in a specific time. So now it's going to take 1/4 note to complete that glide. Maybe longer. Let's make it musical. Why not? Yeah, I'm gonna keep that setting. I think I've done too many changes here for me to be really wanting to save this project at this point, but I am going to change this later for half. That's a very nice development. So yeah, that's my track. There's some more channels here that I didn't play, so let's kind of give them a little bit of respect. The piano. No comment. Full. Just gives it a little bit more kind of meshes it together with everything. Oh yeah, we'll talk about the guitar in this. You know what? I'll start with the guitar because this is something that I really wanted to highlight. Okay, so we have these two channels of admittedly a sampler guitar. Yeah, it's just a demo, guys. So here I'm using, and the same trick I'm using on the second guitar, right? So this is basically, it's kind of like the same idea. They're using the same. Okay, so this is the original. It's just the sound of a guitar with the attack opened, right? So then I added Comet before the amplifier. Why? because I like those raspy tones. And the reverb, what does it do? It adds another sustain of the note before together with the note after. And those are just like seconds. And those create those grrr sounding sounds. Without the reverb, it just sounds... With the reverb is being distorted together with the guitar to create this kind of intermodulation. And then I'm taking that distortion and putting that in a reverb of its own. So I'm taking taking guitar, right, through a reverb pedal or like a plate reverb maybe, amping it to an amp after the reverb. The amp is already playing, maybe a spring reverb, maybe, cool. And then I'm putting that reverb far in a big room and miking it from afar to give it this kind of huge, expansive space feeling, right? So here's the guitar part.
Sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight.
Click. Okay, and so, yeah, I have those strings, of course, that give a nice swell just before everything starts. You can hear them kind of softly, but they're there. Oh, sorry, not here, not here. Oh, sorry, that's not it. Without. It's amazing how Comet can take like a pad of strings that sounds super synthetic and boring and just give it this kind of lushness, and it doesn't sound more real. It just sounds more convincing because it's less fake. I don't know. It's not more real. I don't know. Just listen to the before and after. Before. After. And here I have my violas. Yeah, so all of the channels have reverb on them except for one, which is arguably my favorite. But sometimes less is more, and that is the bass. So yeah, just by the way, let me know if the bass is too loud, because I like it. So I might have pushed it too far. So let me know. So here's the You know what? Before I do this, let's revert to saved. Okay. This is the entire track now. Now you know all my secrets.
Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight. Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight. Comet in the sky, trailing by, glowing bright tonight.
Yeah, that was it. I hope you liked the breakdown. I'm just to anybody who doesn't know, and I hope you don't come too late to this stream, because right now, in our Polyverse website, there's a Black Friday sale, and not only there's a Black Friday sale, there's actually a flash sale for Comet, just for 48 hours. And if I'm not mistaken, it's about to be over. So if you want to have your hands on Comet for only $29, this is your time. I'm pretty sure you have about less than 3 hours left to get Comet in this price. Afterwards, our Black Friday sale is still going to continue until December 4th. But really, Comet is going to be costing $89, which is still a steal because Comet is worth way more. We know that. It's one of the nicest reverbs out there. So yeah, go grab Comet before the deal is gone. And for all those that have missed the sale, I'm sorry. Probably never going to happen again. Yeah, those flash sales are not unsustainable, but sometimes we do them like very rarely just to say thank you to our audiences. And this year was good to us, so we've decided to kind of, let's do it. Let's kind of put some focus on Comet. Filterverse and Manipulator have been getting so much love. Comet needs some love too. So give it some love, spread the word, tell your friends. And yeah, if there's yeah, so BuzzPsy, I'm sorry you have all the plugins, so too bad, but be prepared because we are having a huge update for all of the plugins, and also next year, 2026, is the year of the synthesizer. Stay tuned. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and happy plugging, or whatever you call that.